And now,
introducing the one, the only.
Now let me introduce to you
lively talk with successful people, barely filtered. This is the Jenna Ben Show.
Okay, welcome, Mo. This is the first dating horror story segment that I'm doing, kind of inspired by spooky season. So I'm like, all right, let's talk about dating horror stories. So how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to have you on, MO NAIM. Mo, we met in person. We actually know each other.
Yeah, friends right away. Friends at first sight.
Friends at first sight. Do you remember how we met?
Yeah, we met at a birthday party in Silver Lake, right?
Yeah. And I never go out that way. And and there was a dog.
There was a dog, games of cornhole, some drinking, you know. You were fun at cornhole. You were good at cornhole. I didn't think you would be that good, but you were great at it.
So let's give the listeners a little bit of background. Introduce yourself, age, where you're from, where you're living now, what you do for work.
Okay, so my name is Mo. I'm 48 years old. I own boarding care homes for the elderly, so I take care of seniors who have Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's. So I have caregivers that take care of them. They live in a house.
Okay, great. All right, so we're here to talk about dating, and you're a funny guy, and I figured who better than Mo to come on the show and talk about why the hell we're all still single in LA. Here you are, a successful guy, great personality, good energy. Why would you say you're single?
Well, it's kind of like you make an effort, you try, and then sometimes people just don't match. Sometimes, people don't know how to empathize. Like I was married for 15 years, and I tried to work on it. I tried to work and work and work. But then when I got to a point where I'm saying, you know what, I'm the only one who says I'm sorry. I'm the only one who says this, It's like, why can't I ever get an I'm sorry? I even asked for an apology once. And I got, well, why am I saying I'm sorry? Because you did this and this, So
was it your ex-wife that you were with when I ran into you at Elefante?
No, that was a Tinder date.
No way. No way. Because you introduced her as something that in my mind I felt like was familiar, like this is my friend or my ex-girlfriend or my ex something, but that was a date.
That was literally our first date.
Okay, and how did it go?
You thought like we were in a relationship?
I thought that you knew each other. It felt like it didn't feel brand new.
Well, I kind of get that a lot, as far as not people will walk up to me and say, I know you. I'm like, nah, I don't think you know me. It's like, no, I know you from here and here. I'm like, no, I've never been there. I really don't know you. He's like, you just look really familiar. I'm like, you know what it is? It's probably my vibe. My vibe seems really familiar to you for somebody that you like, so you're just feeling my vibe, and that's why I seem familiar to you. I mean, that's the only thing I can explain sometimes. But then again, I'm not going to be there to question you and make you feel uncomfortable or whatever. We're hanging out to find common ground and find common interests, for our first date,
You're good. You're good at making people feel comfortable. All right, I want to jump right in. I'm going to do a little icebreaker, and then we're going to get some stories from you. So, all right, we're all particular, whether we admit it or not. There are likes and dislikes and things that make us go, I'm going to shimmy on out of this situation. So just a few things. What are your thoughts on if your date has bad breath?
Bad breath? Okay. Well, it's kind of a not fair question for me because I don't have a sense of smell. I don't think I ever told you this story. I was in San Francisco for New Year's. I walked outside. My friend looks like he was getting in an argument with somebody. I go to see what's going on. Next thing I know, I get hit in the head with a baseball bat, crowbar, or something. I wake up in the ICU, in one of the CT and MRI machine. And I wake up, I'm like, where am I? Doctor goes, they're like, close your eyes, go back to sleep. I knock out. Next morning, doctor wakes me up, he shakes my foot, he goes, what happened to you? I'm like, I got sucker punched. He's like, no, you got hit with something like a blunt force, some type of object. And I felt like blood in my ear. I'm like, okay, what happens now? He's like, well, you could have speech impediment, short-term memory loss, seizure, strokes, blah. He's going over this list. I'm like, fuck, I'm a salesman. If I can't speak or remember anything, how the fuck am I going to do my job? That's what I'm thinking. first thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so luckily nothing happened like all of those things. I get home, I went to go make myself a peanut butter jelly sandwich. I couldn't smell the peanut butter. I'm like, what the fuck happened? So apparently there's like nerves that go from here to here. And I got hit so hard that it severed these nerves, and apparently they don't grow back.
Wow.
So,
Okay, so you can't smell. Fine. That I had no idea. That's an anomaly.
it
What
is.
if a date like chews loudly?
Choose loudly, like open mouth or like closed
Yeah,
mouth? Open mouth?
both. Both,
Both?
but like cuz then it's like you can hear it and then you can see it and then there's like slopping sounds.
Open mouth? No. Closed mouth, if it became like too much, I would ask her to make yummy noises at the same time. So like that. So that way it distracts me from them, and I get something else to listen to too. Just shake it around a little bit.
You would really be okay with her like moaning
Well,
as she eats?
and for especially if in a restaurant, yeah, no problem. Everybody's looking at the table, like what's going on? So what happened here?
What do you think about yellow teeth? Like, are teeth a thing for you or you don't care?
Teeth are a thing for me. Yellow teeth either means too much coffee or smoking cigarettes. Too much coffee I can deal with. Smoking cigarettes, not so much. If you're out drinking with some friends, okay. But yeah, it's just pretty much a coffee habit. Get the sense of that, I guess.
All right, so let's get into it. What do you got for us? Let's talk about your dating experiences. Now you're here in LA. It's difficult. I have a whole segment around dating in LA because it's so hard to find your person, and I'm trying to really get to the bottom of why. But in the meantime, dating horror stories. What you got for us?
All right, so I was dating this girl for about a year. And then we had this huge, massive, blow up, fight, break up, whatever it is. And I felt bad, and I felt like, oh man, I thought, this was something good here. And then it just kind of ended. So about 3 or 4 weeks goes by, and she winds up emailing me or texting me. I wound up texting her back, and then we started chatting. I'm like, you know what? There's this restaurant that I used to go to, back a while ago. I haven't been there in a while, and I've never taken you there. I want to take you there. So we're wearing our masks. We walk in. At this point, I'm holding her hand. There's live music. There's a guy singing. There's a belly dancer. And then I walk into the place, and all outdoor seating. So I walk into the place, and I say, I just wanted to see for two. She goes, well, you have to go talk to the owner. I think we're full today. So I go and say, which one's the owner? She points to this guy. I go walk up to the guy. I look over this way, and I see my ex-wife, her sister, her brother-in-law, her brother, her sister-in-law, her niece and nephew, all at the table.
The whole fam.
Yeah, I look at it. The entire family divorced, and I'm just didn't know what to do. I'm like, hi. I just wave. I run back inside, and I see the girl there. So what happened? Who was that? He's like, that was my ex-wife, and we both started dying laughing. The niece, back when I was married to her, the niece used to call me Mopa. So I'm walking back outside, I'm hearing Mopa, screaming. And then the sister's like, stop calling him, stop saying that. I'm listening to this whole thing. I'm just feeling like this whole past life is there, and my new life is over here. So do you have a table for two? He's like, yeah, I have a table for two. Just give us 5 minutes. I'm going inside. I'm looking at the tables that are around her, making sure that they're still eating. So that's not the table we're going to. So I'm back inside. He walks back out, and he parades us literally around her entire table to a table off to the side, 2 tables down, where we're facing each other almost. So I'm like, all right, fine. Let me just turn my back to the table. And we're looking at each other, talking. She's holding my hand, and they're all probably just staring at me at this point. So
oh my God.
I felt awkward. I felt bad for her. Her entire family is there. And here I am parading in with this 5'6" brunette, in a tank top and a skirt, and she's tipping the belly dancer money. I'm like, and they're all watching it. I was like, ugh. So,
were you sweating bullets?
I wasn't sweating bullets. I was more just kind of feeling awkward that she was there, I was here. What are they gonna do? Walk up the table and give me shit? I'm divorced. It's
did you end on bad terms, or what's the
vibe?
No,
we end on good terms. And in fact, I probably wasn't supposed to do this, but I did this anyway. I kind
You
of felt
message her?
I messaged the ex and I said, hey, listen, I'm sorry about that. It was really awkward because we left on good terms. I mean,
Yeah.
so I left, and then she texts back saying, you know what? I didn't figure you'd be single forever. And then we chatted for like 2 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like 2 hours back
Did
and forth.
that rekindle anything with her?
No.
No.
It was over when I left. You know, if you're going to leave, you're going to leave, especially a 15-year marriage. I mean, what the fuck? You know, you're not going
Right.
to go out and then date and hook up and go party and whatever for 3 years and then say, hey, baby, you want to take me back? You know, what the fuck?
Right.
Would you take me back?
I think for me, if I'm being completely honest, it would be about how I feel in that moment. You know, like, of course, there's like one set of ego, right? Where then with your ego, you're kind of like principle based and you're like, no, it should be this way and this way. And then, you know, your heart can steer you in a different direction. And the older I get, man, the more I let go of principle based restrictions. You know, it's kind of like, do I feel good around you? Do I enjoy your company? Do I like feel stress when we communicate, or do I feel like a sense of calmness and I can come to you and tell you about my day and I want to tell you about my day, you know? So for me, it really comes down to how I feel.
Well, it's not even about tell you about my day. Are you going to listen to what my day was? I mean, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
can tell
Do you
me about your
care?
day. Yeah, well, yeah, that you tell me about your day all you fucking want. If I'm listening to 10% of it, 90%'s in my fucking iPhone or watching the game, then who cares? You kind of have to pick
Right.
your moments. I mean, it's kind of like that too. You know, if I'm sitting there and watching TV or watching a game, for example, and then you walk in wanting to tell me a story about your day, yeah, I'm interested. Yeah, I want to hear it. Yeah, I care about you and want to know what's going on. But I'm kind of like in the middle of something, you know? So like,
That's very real of you, even
it's
though
very,
I bet every woman watching is like, oh, you better stop and listen to me. I'm more
listen,
important than whatever's on that screen. But
if you want him to listen to you, do it while he's not distracted. That's it.
yeah.
Men are not multitaskers. We all know this. If we're watching a football game, we are watching a football game. if
Well,
we're if we're eating chips, we're eating chips. You know, that's pretty much all we do. You know, so if you catch us between like a commercial and maybe a sip of maybe a beverage, you can get your story in before the commercial comes back. Or you can wait till halftime. Nobody really gives a shit about halftime. Once we check our scores on our fantasy, you know, the first 2 minutes of halftime is bullshit. So you can like have 10 minutes during halftime, or you know, the games are done at 1:30 and 4:30. Second with a set if it's a Sunday. Any other time, I'm good. But the Sundays, I got to keep that. You know, that's just good.
you know, that, I mean, that's a good point, though. I think it's so easy to look at our significant other and say, well, I want to feel more important than some stupid game. But these are the things that matter in life. Like we all have our pleasures, right? We have our reality shows, our sports, our hobbies, the things we like to do. And just because someone else looks at them and maybe doesn't have the same level of interest doesn't mean that they're not important to us. So the older I get, the more I realize that it's not for us to decide what's important to the other person or to rank the level of importance for the other person. It's for us to understand and accept. And if you can do that, then, you know, I think there's room to be together. And if not, then that's going to be a pretty tough life.
Well, I mean, it all really comes down to empathy, as far as I'm concerned. As far as emotional intelligence is concerned, empathy is like the biggest pillar. Because if you can't see how I feel and I can't see how you feel, we're never going to understand each other.
Have you ever hooked up with a girl and then like met up with another girl after in the same day?
Yeah.
I think this is more common than people are willing to admit
Well,
publicly.
I mean, sometimes if they left in the morning and then there was a different girl that night. We just see it sometimes like that. I mean, if that counts, I don't know if that counts.
No, that counts. That
Okay.
counts. I mean, I think then there's a spectrum, right? Because then there's like the situation where maybe you just hooked up with someone and then you go out on a date with another person. or
Yeah.
you invite someone else over?
You know?
Okay, but here's what I want to know. Are you brushing your teeth and showering in between, or are you just like dirty dogging it, you know?
No. Always, I'm a clean boy. I stay clean.
Okay. Okay. All right. So if you're out with the date and let's say you're like eating ice cream and she has like ice cream dripping down her face and doesn't realize it or something, would you tell her?
Of course.
Or would
I
you just kind of like ignore it?
I was like, excuse me. You have that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you'd use it as a moment to kind of like touch her and be cute. Okay. See, I knew you had game. Now, what if it's like a bug though? What if she's got like a bat in the cave?
A booger?
Yeah.
I'd pick it for her.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I would just say, hey, babe, like that. You know?
Oh, okay.
Just like that. I mean, if it bothered me, if it was like hanging, you would think that it would maybe tickle a little bit and she would feel it. But if it's not one of the tickler ones, then yeah, I would just say, hey.
Yeah. All right. And do you, when you see these things, does it like give you that cringy feeling in your stomach? Like, oh man, and you can't focus on anything else?
It used to until I started working with seniors, and the boarding care, because you walk in on things. You walk in on somebody getting their diaper changed. And after that, so somebody with a booger in their nose is not that bad of a deal.
I know you have some tools and tricks in your toolbox because like having met you, I see that you're smooth. You're really good with people. Give us a few of your tips and tricks that help you kind of get women to let their guards down and maybe develop feelings for you.
There's a rule called the 80-20 rule, where if you want to feel like you're there for somebody and consulting with them and what have you, you talk 20% of the time and you listen 80% of the time. So those kind of things. So yeah, you just kind of pick up a vibe. People see that, hey, this guy's not just in it for standing there just wanting to talk about himself or brag. I mean, I don't dress nice. I don't, drive a fancy car, but I am what I am,
I see the alligator on your shirt.
That's just for the show.
Rocking some Lacoste.
That's just for the show.
You got fancy for us?
Yeah, I wouldn't be wearing a shirt right now normally. I just would be in the closet. I can't wear stuff anymore. Like the stuff that I used to wear going out, it doesn't fit me anymore because I got COVID fat. So now I got I don't want to stand up right now and let you see the rest of it. I'll just, luckily I have decent arms still,
You don't want to show us the rest of it. Got it.
Yeah, not till I like at least do some hit exercises for a couple months,
Yeah, I feel you. Listen, we've all felt the COVID weight. But back with the 80-20 rule, I'm with you on that. Someone said something to me once and it stuck with me. And I always think about this. It's better to be interested than interesting. Like that's how you win people over. So if you can genuinely, without thinking of what you're going to talk about next and, me, but like really being present and focusing on what the person is sharing with you, they're going to walk away feeling closer to you than if you spent the whole time sharing about yourself.
Yeah, just when they're talking, don't cut them off. Pitch, pace, tone, just talk slow, not to sound whatever. Those kind of things. I mean, they make a difference in just communication.
Mo, thank you so much for coming on the Jenna Ben Show. I appreciate you opening up about your dating horror stories, which are really not that bad. But you're a pretty insightful guy, and we'll have to revisit. We'll pick up where we left off another time.
Thanks for finally having me on.
I know it's been a minute.
Times, every son's like, hey, anybody want to talk about this on the show? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. It's like, really? Thought you're my friend.
Mo, give us your Instagram so people know how to find you.
I'm for MO NAIM, the number 4, MO NAIM.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks again for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon.
Peace out.